Can't believe we got him. Can't believe
we finally got this.
Holy cow! I can't believe
Listen,
it.
I'm a little nervous to be honest because I know they have security. I know that this.
Hey guys, this is Rudkowski here. We are Change.org with Alex Stein, Primetime 99. You won't believe we got a big treat for you guys. I can't believe we're seeing this right now. This is live in the moment, unedited. Guys, I can't believe we're seeing this. This is crazy, man. I can't believe we got this. I can't believe we got this. Klaus Schwab, tell us about this New World Order and the globalist confab and Henry Kissinger. What are you doing here? Why do you want us to eat the bugs? Why are you doing this, Klaus Schwab? No, reset. Now to the Great Reset.
Say MAGA. Say you love Donald Trump. Say you love Donald Trump. Say it.
Don't put that where the shun doesn't sign. No.
Come on, Klaus.
Nah, we're just pranking. We're joking. So yeah.
YouTube. This is not. Oh my God, I'm gonna scroll down.
I'm going up.
Wow.
So this is High Res. This is, of course, Alex Stein. We just wrapped up our music shoot here. And why not this be the first episode of the podcast that I have going here for Luke Unfiltered and We Are Change.org. And I thought it would be an interesting start of the podcast and a way to have long-form conversations. How you doing, High Res? How's the mask?
If we have this access to this, imagine what they have access to.
Exactly. Well, the deep fakes are going to be crazy, especially with the artificial intelligence out there and facial recognition technology.
And I want to say this, and I'm happy that I'm taking Luke's unfiltered virginity. Finally, I know he's been on the internet for longer than most of us have been alive, for some of the people that are watching this maybe. But this is the first of greatness. This is the first episode of a whole series of incredible interviews. So you guys got to watch. You guys got to support Luke. He did make me puke, though. He passed gas earlier. It stunk, guys. Luke's stinking up this place. He's eating so many craft services.
I eat a lot of liver, and, you know, Luke, we puke. It's kind of real. High Res, thank you so much for having us a part of your music video. Robert Malone was also here. A lot of really cool people were here. We're going to continue the conversation with Alex Stein and continue this podcast by doing a little walk and talk, which I think is going to be a lot more interesting than a lot of the other podcasts. I did set up a studio in Miami, but I kind of want to do things my own way, and I think this was a good start. I think it was funny. I think you need humor, and I think the person who definitely understands that the most is Alex Stein, Primetime 99. I love your work. I love everything you're doing. You kind of just like jumped on the scene here and made a very big impact, especially with a lot of the culture clash, especially with a lot of the shock jock stuff that you've been doing.
Yes.
Some people love it. Some people hate it.
A lot of people hate it, actually, in my comment section. But Luke, this is one thing. This is what people don't realize. I know you say, you know, it was the primetime meteoric rise, but it literally, you have to work your whole entire life to become an overnight success. And this is what you might not know, Luke. You know, I worked for the TV show Cheaters. We catch people cheating on their husbands and wives. And I can only say...
Did you really? Or are you trolling?
I'm dead serious. No.
Okay, I didn't know this.
I can only say so much because I signed an NDA. So you figure out what that means. But my point is, Luke, so you didn't know this story. So I was supposed to be the host. The host of the show is a guy named Clark Gable. His grandfather was Clark Gable from the movie Gone with the Wind. When I tell you this, Luke, my buddy had the highest drug tolerance of anybody I met. You're like, why do you bring that up? My buddy, Clark, the host of Cheaters, could drink, could smoke, could do it all. He's the type of guy you wouldn't even know he's messed up. Well, he had pain pills. He was prescribed pain pills, Luke, like Vicodin or whatever. He ran out of them. He went and he bought some on the street. It had fentanyl in it. And in 2019, right at the end of 2019 is when he died. And then April 2020, they said, Alex, you're going to be the next host of Cheaters. But instead of picking me, they picked this guy named Peter Guns. And you're like, what does that mean? He's a 52-year-old black DJ. And they changed his name to Peter Panky because they didn't want to glamorize gun violence, because the show is distributed by Viacom, which owns MTV and VH1. So my point is, I thought I was done, Luke. I thought I was going to have this high-paying job. I thought my life, you know, I was like, this great opportunity, and then it was taken from me, and it was the greatest thing to happen to me in the world, because that's when I started my own channel, and that's when I started Primetime 99, the culture jamming king. That's what I am today, so. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of things happen in our life, and we don't know how to kind of react to it originally. I remember when I was still in high school, I broke my ankle. And I couldn't play basketball, and basketball was my entire life. And I was going to be in college, and it was going to be my whole identity. But looking back at it, being able to like break my ankle and then have more time to myself allowed me to research a bunch of this stuff. We're just going to continue walking, by the way, because I love this kind of platform where, because when you walk, you kind of have this like free reign of thinking. you have this ability to also just kind of go into this larger synergy to talk without any kind of guard or filter. But I remember I got hurt and injured, and I was looking at the world, I was like, why did this happen to me? My whole career is ruined. I can't go to college. I can't do this. I got a crappy job working at Subways for $5.50 an hour, and I'm like, I never thought I was going to go to the NBA. That's going to be very difficult. But it's like, at least get into a college. At least have my ride paid for me there. At least kind of do that. That didn't work out. So there's a lot of people also going through a lot of hard stuff out there, and they're like, why is this happening? At the end of the day, when you kind of look back at things, some of the worst moments, especially in my life and my existence, gave me the biggest kind of meeting, which kind of explains this larger crazy experience and this kind of up and down, this larger kind of roller coaster, as Bill Hicks described it as life. But you had also a lot of, crazy stuff that you've been through. I've been through some crazy stuff.
I really want to talk to you real quick, Luke. So how did you, because I've been following you since I found out about 9/11. I mean, this is like 10 years ago, and I was one of these guys that heard about 9/11 truth and saw loose change, and I vibed with it. Like, I knew the government was lying to me, but I wasn't like motivated to actually do something about it. So why were you motivated at such a young age? Because people know the government lies to us. People know that they're doing illegal stuff. People know there's classified levels of information. But I'm saying, why were you so radicalized to actually go and stand up and get in Larry Silverstein's face? I mean, that takes a lot of balls for, you were a kid doing it. You're a little kid. Well, how old are you, 20?
When I was doing the confrontations, I was like 19,
that's what I'm saying.
19,
like
20, 18. Yeah, videos. I'm an old man right now. People, I mean, you can still see some of those videos if YouTube allows you to see them or find them or to look them up on search. But also, just like as we were talking, a lot of trauma, a lot of craziness happened in my life. Being in New York City as a young kid on 9/11, being in school at the time, being evacuated, having so much of that impact, knowing people that were affected by this, knowing people that went down there to rescue people and they were lied to. I think that was the biggest one.
But what about your classmates and stuff? They didn't get all radicalized to go. I mean, dude, you went up to Larry Silverstein, basically the guy that benefited the most individually from the entire terror attack. And you went to his face and asked him questions that nobody, not even a grown-ass man, would have the balls to do.
Well, I also understood that life is short. Yeah. And I had a person that was very close to me pass away.
Yeah. That's kind of what, listen, my mom passing away is one of the biggest things that motivated me, because it showed me, look, I'm going to die too. So who cares? Nobody's going to, I mean, nothing, literally.
Alex, we're walking. Come on, keep it moving here.
No, I try to stay in it. No, I'm trying to walk with you so we can both see each other. No, it's hard because the gimbal wants to go on prime time. But I'm saying, when you do lose somebody, and you losing somebody at a young age, me losing somebody when I'm in my 30s, it gives you perspective that you didn't have, because you realize, oh man, there's a very finite time limit to this thing we call life.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point that kind of stuck out with me, especially in my first confrontation with Zbigniew Brzezinski, where I literally got dragged out of the event. Security was chasing me down the street, and I was convinced that they were going to take me out, because that was my first confrontation I ever did in my life.
Paranoid too, because
I was super paranoid. I'm like, oh yeah, the government just pulled off a major event where not only did they, lie through their teeth, but they created an event that took out 3,000 people. Yeah. But more importantly, lied about the event later, told everyone that the air was safe to breathe, and then affected 50,000 people in such a horrible negative ways. A lot of those people I knew. A lot of them were police officers. A lot of them were firefighters. A lot of them were military personnel. A lot of them were even just average Joe construction guys. And I met people like Kevin McPadden. I met individuals that were there when Building 7 was coming down and were told, hey, evacuate the area. Here's the countdown. I met people like William Rodriguez, who was a national hero, who was inside of the basement of that building.
He said flames came up.
And then the explosions were coming from beneath the building. So when you meet individuals like that, when you have such an impact and you see them going through such a crazy story, with me going through such a crazy story, with me having someone close to me also pass away that was very close to that story, with them specifically also having their father who passed away on that specific day, who was a firefighter, that impacted me a lot. And I'm like, look, life is short. There's a lot of really bad people out there that are either complicit, lying, or criminally involved in really hurting people in a really bad way. I can't stand for this. I want to make sure that all of this is exposed. And it was a day and age where a lot of people still were using cell phones.
Yeah, nobody had, that's what I was just going to say. You didn't have a cell phone camera that was 4K.
Yeah,
you didn't have the wireless microphone you could just buy on
We couldn't
Amazon.
go live.
Yeah, I
right?
know. You couldn't go live. YouTube was like, not even, when did YouTube come out? When we were in high school, like in 2005 or something? So,
we were on Blip TV before there was even YouTube uploading all of our content. You don't even know what Blip TV is.
Dude, that's
people don't know what it is.
Gangster right there. You're even before pre-YouTube posting truth content. Oh, talk about that. YouTube used to be the best place for truth, conspiracy,
Absolutely.
And now it's the worst. Now
Well, they got bought off by Google, and we were making videos all the way back in 2008. You could go back on this channel right now till 2008, and we told you, hey, the day of free speech is over here. But it was an amazing day, an amazing time and platform where we were able.
What was the heyday of YouTube?
The loose change days.
That was the heyday.
That was 2006 was pretty big. That was the 5th year anniversary of 9/11, and we had Immortal Technique. We had Aaron Russo releasing Freedom from Fascism. We had Alex Jones down in Times Square with us. We were doing a fundraiser with Loose Change, the premiere of Loose Change, the premiere of Endgame.
I remember when in Manhattan had thermite billboards. You know, they'd have billboards like.
I don't remember the thermite billboards.
There was you never saw those. There was a billboard in New York City. It was probably like
yes, with Richard Gage and Architects and Engineers.
Yeah.
So you were in this stuff for a while.
Yeah.
So how long were you like in the know, and then how long did you know, and how long did it take you to like to keep it under wraps, keep it under surface? Because there's a certain level of like, if I'm going to talk about this, one, people are going to think I'm crazy. Two, the powers that be that I'm exposing are going to try to hurt me. It was really prevalent in the early beginnings, mainly because there was no live streams. There was no internet. It was, here's the secret shadowy elites. Here's Zbigniew Brzezinski, the man who set up Al-Qaeda in 1979 in Afghanistan, who wrote the technocratic blueprint. He wrote the technocratic blueprint specifically for the technocratic day and age that we're living in right now. Worked with David Rockefeller, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, Bilderberg member. You confront him, who's going to save me? Like I thought legitimately they're going to take me out. I got him pissed. He told security to go after me. They literally ripped me apart. They literally tried to steal my video camera. I was like, this is life or death. I got to run for my life.
Crappy kind of video camera?
Yeah, we had a crappy DV tape camera that I borrowed from a friend. Wasn't even mine. And then I didn't know how to edit. I had to go to my friend's place in Long Island. We had to connect the DV tapes, and we had to manipulate it in a way where
you had to Avid or some old editor.
Yes, and it was horrible. Back to you though.
Oh yeah, so let me tell you my story. Yeah, so a little bit about me. It's funny because I think that I obviously was awake to 9/11. I mean, I didn't know Loose Change like the back of my hand at this time, but I kind of was a Tower 7 head. But the first conspiracy that I guess started radicalizing me is I graduated college in 2010, moved to Los Angeles, and I lived there from 2010 to 2012. Let me tell you this. Sorry, while here, I'll hold it. So when I moved to LA, I found this little thing called the Church of Scientology. And I mean, you've heard of Scientology, you know, but I didn't really know about it. And then there's a documentary called Going Clear. So I got kind of obsessed with the conspiracy behind Scientology, just that it's like the secret organization. So I guess that's what kind of like piqued my interest. Like, oh, there's like secret groups and there's weird stuff, and you know, there's just I don't know. That was what opened the door.
This looks like a sketchy place. You want to walk down here?
This looks real sketchy here. We'll see.
We got a sketchy place, so we're gonna check it out. We could actually flip the camera,
you flip
and it doesn't have to be on both of us. It could be on just one of us. So we just see the sketchy road. This is the first podcast episode ever, Walk and Talk with Alex Stein, Primetime 99.
On the grind all the time. Let me finish this thing. So what I'm saying is, so I was kind of like into conspiracies, into all this. But what radicalized me the most is the day of the 2016 election, Luke. When they literally, I was a Trump head. My mom liked Trump, but I was still like, oh, he's not going to win. He's not going to win. Because every mainstream media source said Hillary Clinton's going to win. 99%. The day of the election, New York Times posted that. 99%. And that day when Trump won, I was like, oh, dude, I'm done. I'm done believing anything mainstream media. That's what actually was the... oh, I'm done worrying about the opinions of others. And that's when I kind of woke up, I guess. But I didn't officially say, like, I don't care about other people's think about me. I wasn't unapologetically myself until about 2016. Because I was like everybody else, worried about the opinions of strangers. And you don't want to be, you know, socially awkward or socially... you don't want to have antisocial behavior like talking about conspiracies. And this is in 2015. before QAnon, before all the people were just talking about conspiracies like it's no big deal. So for me, seeing your journey, it was a lot faster, and you know, your activism was done so early. I'm jealous, I'm envious of that. I would have liked to have started doing activism and waking people up way sooner.
Yeah, I remember getting a book called Behold the Pale Horse, reading that book when I was about, I think, 13. And then after reading that book, I was like, holy cow. My friends found Alex Jones through torrent videos. Yeah. And back in the day, you had dial-up internet and you needed to be on torrents, and it took days and days and days just to get one particular video. And then we were downloading all these crazy videos, 9/11 Road to Tyranny, crazy eye-opening video that kind of laid all the plot lines out there and left you feeling like, holy crap, I'm gonna crap my pants, because none of this information was accessible. It was all through the underground. The way that my friend got it is he was trying to pirate some kind of Hollywood movie, and someone put the name of the pirated Hollywood movie, and then put and then put 9/11 Road to Tyranny in there, and then he watched it. He was like, "Oh man, we got to watch this too." And then he brought us over, and I remember feeling so paranoid. And there's something to say here about this kind of stigma. I don't know if it's still prevalent now, because it seems like a lot of the conspiracies have turned out to be true.
Yeah.
It seems like we're batting 100 here, not to pat ourselves on the back here, but we've kind of been calling exactly what's been happening here, even back until decades and decades ago, when we were telling you, hey, the larger plot here is the subjugation of humanity, is forced medication, is control of your life, is total slavery, is total communism. And me coming from Poland, a communist place that had the government there ruin the lives of my family, torture my family members, I saw this coming to the United States. I saw this coming in a very big way, especially with the police state in New York City. And I was like, if I don't get involved here, I'm going to go through all the horrors that my grandmother went through. My grandmother, crazy story, was in the trains, was in the Stutthof concentration camp, was extremely lucky to survive. She said the communists were worse than the Germans during that time period.
Wow.
Both of her parents got killed by the Germans. So that tells you a lot of what people had to go through. We're literally right now in an open field.
There's definitely an
We don't.
No, but to your point, I want to make this point because I don't want to forget it. This is another thing is, in like, whether you want to say a secret society or a group of elites, but these people, for their karma, they kind of have to tell us all this stuff is going to happen beforehand. So that sounds confusing, but literally they have to warn us, and then we choose to accept it. We choose to take whatever drug they recommend, and then by them telling us beforehand, their karma is not affected, or I guess their karma is clean. So
that's how the devil works too, and it's foreshadowing, and they use a lot of symbolism as a way to have everything out in the open and to say, here it is, here's the forbidden apple, do you want it? And a lot of this has to deal with us acquiescing and complying with it. And I think if more and more, this is why the information is so key. This is why I think they've censored so much of this information. I think this is why they're treating it on such a big national security level, because all it takes to unravel a lot of this is just the right ideas, getting to enough people, and people realizing, hey, I don't need to do any violence. I don't need to do any craziness. I'm personally responsible for myself, and I am going to make the right decisions for myself, my family members, and I won't be taking the poison. And I won't be taking the high fructose corn syrup or the seed oils or whatever bull crap is out there. So yeah, this wasn't planned, by the way, but this is a nice walk.
No, this is, but this is the other thing is all that's great, and you are in control of your own life. Being a victim, guys, you cannot be a victim, but at the same time, everybody kind of knew Flight 93 was weird. I just went down the field. I'm saying, well, you can actually present a lot of evidence, but
or the Pentagon.
No, I'm saying no amount of evidence can convince an idiot. That's the problem, though, too. It's like if you actually look into it, like you said, everything unravels pretty quick. But people they're not motivated to actually look into it because they're busy with their jobs, their wife, their kids. So I don't know. It's just we have an uphill battle, quote unquote, waking people up. But you're right. It's an information war. All the information's out there that you can realize that you are being lied to on a massive scale. And that's like the basis of probably all the pain that's causing us all these problems is that we're being lied to. People are getting, medicine because they think they're doing the right thing.
Oh, yeah. Almost every aspect of our society, almost everything the establishment tells you to do, it's almost everything is a complete and utter lie. The education system is an indoctrination system. The medical system is really a big pharma monetary system. The banking system is not based on savings. It's based on taking and printing money and devaluing it. And when you look at media, news, We're not watching the news. We're watching propaganda and what a lot of rich people are trying to convince you a part of a larger psychological military operation that, of course, is predominantly only profiting and working because people fall for it. And at the end of the day, it is your choice. It is your existence. We never planned this walk, by the way. I don't know. I don't think we could. I don't know if we could go any further. We could try, but we're in Florida. Unless you're wearing boots here.
I don't want to get bit by a huge copperhead or whatever the hell kind of snake.
But
you know, it's awesome out in the middle. We're out in the middle of nowhere in beautiful Orlando. And you know, I don't want to just be doom and gloom. No,
Exactly.
We're talking about all this bad stuff, guys. But you can choose to not be a victim of it. It's literally your choice. That's the problem with society, is now we're encouraging everybody to say, oh, well, X, Y, and Z happened to me, so now I can be a victim, now I can quit. No, you should be motivated to fight more, having the information that you're being lied to. Like that's what radicalized me and made me want to fight back, because I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm being lied to. I want the truth. So it's kind of a self-motivating thing. It's hard to be a self-starter, but we're going to lose this culture war. We're going to lose society. The world's going to crumble if we don't get started doing, you know, the right thing.
Yeah, and it starts with living a good life yourself, and also not being susceptible to the fear, to the propaganda, to the disinformation, and to a lot of the times the psychological and emotional kind of attacks that happen against the average general public. Because, you know, you said something earlier. You said, hey, you know, some of these guys are idiots. Some of them are. Yeah. But like, we were all idiots at some point.
I was an idiot. I still am. No,
we still are idiots.
I'm not saying that negative. I'm just saying, if you don't want to believe something, it's very easy to not believe it. These people can find evidence that, you know, gives them confirmation bias. The same people that literally want to mutilate children and say, oh, gender reassignment is healthcare. I mean, that doesn't make sense. You have gender dysphoria and you think that's going to solve it by getting your breast cut off or getting a mastectomy. So those people are the ones they'll fight tooth and nail. Like, oh, this is the right thing for little kids. And that is no amount of evidence, no amount of suicides, no amount of detransitioners, no amount of, you know, children saying that they made a mistake will ever convince an idiot that wants to transition children's sex.
I think them, you know, slowly and surely realizing that, from what I see it, from my opinion, this is all a part of a larger kind of depopulation agenda.
Of course.
Meant so people have less children, less family members, because there's a true power in having a family and having neighborhood and being happy and being healthy. And I've been saying this for a while now, especially on my kind of members area, trying to hammer it into all the people I talk to in a more kind of private way outside of YouTube, is that being happy, being healthy, being strong is an act of resistance, and one of the best things that we could do as human beings in order not to fall for the trap. Because if you're not buying their poison, if you're not injecting yourself with their bull crap, if you're not watching and incentivizing and paying for their propaganda, all of that goes away. And it starts with just that light. It starts with just that thought. It starts with that vibrational energy going into your ears right now, and understanding that you yourself are the true source of power in this world, and you decide how you live in this life. And a lot of people are miserable, and a lot of people are depressed, and a lot of people are messed up in more ways than one. But guess what? That gives you a way to have a journey and to have a story that's going to be amazing, because coming from that means you're going to have, as you're going through the lowest of lows, some of the highest in your life right now.
Yeah, and Luke and I are getting real woo-woo, but we're talking about the vibrational energy. You do have to have positive vibrational energy, because it actually attracts other positive energy. So,
exactly.
So that's why they keep us in this low vibrational state. That's why they want you're constantly having a cortisol release. They want you in what is called fight or flight, because when you're in that fight or flight mental state, you can't react. You don't actually think. You're not making critical thinking decisions. You just react, and that's how they want you to be, just like a scared dog or scared cat. So it is, I know it sounds crazy, you're like, what is that vibrational energy? It's just the energy within you, and as long as it can be positive or it can be negative. So you want to try to have that positive vibrational energy. I think that's really important.
Or they keep people in short-term dopamine loops.
Yeah.
Where they keep trying to get a hit after a hit of the short-term pleasures.
You get addicted to the stress too from the cortisol. So
exactly.
It's weird. It's just crazy.
And it's your reticular activation system, where literally you don't know nothing else but to be in this constant trauma state.
Yeah.
When you're in this trauma state, which I think is being incentivized, especially right now with all the horrible things that happened in Tennessee. I want to get into that a little bit, but we got to be careful because we're on YouTube here, obviously. But a tragic event, you know, people passed away. We don't know exactly what happened here. We're still waiting for all the details, and I think we should at least wait a little bit until we start jumping to conclusions. Because one of the things I always see is people nitpicking details, lying, making things up. There's a famous photo now of Sam Hyde as a girl,
of course,
going viral, being like,
this
is the shooter. And I'm like, just like, let's calm down.
Like, I've been looking at that. I've been seeing people who share it. I'm like, I think I'm just doing a little. This is just a generic survey. Most of the people I think were sharing this Samantha Hyde meme, ironically.
Yes.
I think.
But there's also a lot of boomers out there.
That's what I'm saying. There's millions of times I did. I just noticed this Samantha Hyde one is even so funny. I think this one's so egregious. And not to laugh at a school shooting. We're not laughing at that. We're laughing at the Samantha Hyde joke.
Yeah. No. And I think the larger aspect here is that, a lot of people are just waiting for that trauma, waiting to suck off of it, and waiting for their own political purposes, which we gotta we gotta call that bull crap out, because I don't care if it's the left or right.
People loved it. Look, people loved it when the numbers went up with COVID. You would see the broadcasters would be so happy. Don Lemon would be like, "Oh, we just broke 100,000 deaths."
Yeah,
and they were happy about it because they knew that the people that were watching that were going to get some sort of hormonal response, and they're going to continue watching. So it's all basically propaganda. Literally everything you see. As a matter of fact, what Luke and I are making is not propaganda, but I'm saying 99% of what you see literally is propaganda. I don't really know how else to describe it.
Well, it's not just propaganda, but they feed on trauma. Their main thing is getting off of that trauma, and also at the same time with their news reporting, they're creating copycat actions. And there's many psychological studies. There's a reason many professional sports stadiums do not show the crazy people running on the field. Why? Because that incentivizes more people to run on the field. Now, if we're dealing with, someone who is crazy, someone who might be taking a lot of hormones or not, they're going to have a lot of mental instability. Obviously, if we're dealing with someone who is not well in the head, maybe on SSRIs, again, not fair to speculate. We're going to find out exactly what happened later. But if you keep putting their face and name everywhere, you make them infamous, and you incentivize future of these events to happen. And we got to call this out, because if we truly want a lot of this lunacy to stop, the news coverage of this has to stop spurring on this larger copycat nonsense. And we do got to have a serious conversation about mental health, since of course a lot of people are going crazy. A lot of it is related to your gut. A lot of it is related to the poison out there. A lot of it is related to the medication out there. A lot of it is related to the destruction of the modern family and the unhappiness and the depression that people are dealing with. And the solution comes with you, whether it's doing ice baths that do have some kind of medical effect also on your brain as well. Whether it's making sure you have a proper diet, whether making sure you got a good family. Sorry, you've been trying to say something.
No. I mean, we're just talking about this shooter, and there's only so much you can say because there's not a lot of information out. But I think that we're overprescribed with, and we can't. I don't want to get in anything trouble with YouTube. We're not a doctor, but we're just over-medicated as a society.
Absolutely.
That's what it comes.
But even basic things like antibiotics, which we're dependent on for China, and if China ever decides to screw us over, that's one of the main places that they're going to get us. And But that's one example, and there's many other examples of, sadly, a lot of medical doctors that have been hijacked and bought for, just like many politicians have.
We have a really screwed up system, and for all the people out there that are struggling with gender dysphoria, I really do want to get them, mental health care. I think that's really sad that the system we have now is recommending mastectomies or recommending hormone therapies.
Well, it's unproven science, and there's so many people being hurt by this in so many different ways, and they don't tell people you're going to be hooked on big pharma for the rest of your life.
Rest of your life, you're going to be a lifelong patient. Boston Children's Hospital is how they describe patients in their gender reassignment programs.
Now, a lot of these people are suffering. They're going through a tough time, and I think, a lot of the times people like to kind of poke fun and kind of make fun of it, but I think seeing it also kind of more from an empathetic point of view might be even worthwhile, even though that's definitely not something that's really popular out there. I do understand that we absolutely have to laugh. I think there's a middle ground that needs to be reached here, but I think what's happening right now, especially with the algorithms on social media, is that we're seeing this divide being pushed more and more, so we keep fighting each other, rather realizing that the people screwing both of us over, hurting both of us, are some of the biggest figures in academia, in science, individuals like Bill Gates who influence it, individuals who, of course, pour hundreds of millions of dollars into the corporate media, into the scientific community, as Dr. Fauci was even ahead of so many different grants. That grants has a lot of influence. And as we saw within the last 3 years, your health was not prioritized. They weren't talking about proper health. They weren't talking about exercise. They weren't talking about sleep. They weren't talking about proper diet. They were talking about Go on Big Pharma's teeth.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which is insane.
That this will fix everything. But also to a point you said earlier about attention, that's really what frustrates me is I don't ever be considered transphobic or homophobic. But a lot of times when I see all the trans flags in schools, the gay pride flags, for me, Luke, the only thing that separates a gay man and a straight man is technically their sexual preference. So I don't know why we have to actually put these flags or put these trans flags in elementary schools, because kids are going to see that and they're going to say, oh, this is a way for me to get attention from my teacher. I'll be trans or I'll be gay, which that is the problem, is that these shooters or these people are doing stuff to get attention, and they're doing it as a person that does stuff for attention. When I do attention for the bad, you know, and I get attention for bad stuff, you pay consequences and then you stop doing it. So we have a society that's, we're not giving, I got freaking assaulted in San Francisco. Nobody gets in trouble for it. All the trans people that hit me, it's because nobody has any consequences for their actions.
Yeah, just to kind of...
unless you're a J6 rioter, then you have a lot of consequences.
Or you believe in certain ideas that a George Soros DA doesn't really like. We're really helping the YouTube algorithm right now. We're really doing great right now.
We love George Soros. We love you, Anthony Fauci.
You know, talk to your medical doctors. We're not medical professionals. You know, we don't know anything. Do your own research, do your own homework. Yes. And again, as an individual, you got to make the right decisions for yourself.
And that's a good thing. Yeah. Be an individual. Don't just follow the leader. They hate for you to be individualistic. You know, that is really important, is self-ownership.
Yeah. Don't be like me. Don't be like Alex.
Don't be like me. Yeah. I am not a role model. Luke is more of a role model than me.
No, you don't.
I am not at all. Do not be like me, guys.
Yeah. Just be your own. And I think you brought yourself into that because you weren't trying to be anybody else but yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
because like other people did like culture crash,
jamming,
culture jamming, but you did it in your own kind of style, your own kind of way. I don't know if it's fair to say, but you're like kind of the guy running on the field. And there's a lot of people.
What are you talking? That's exactly what I am. I'm just the guy running on the field.
And they're giving you all the attention.
It's like
and they're covering it.
Yeah, but what about, you remember the most famous Super Bowl guy when the guy crashed the Super Bowl?
That was my friend that I trained.
That guy was awesome.
I trained him. He was a part of Change Media University, an online course that's available for members of Luke Unfiltered right now.
Did he get in trouble? How much trouble did that guy get in?
Luckily, they gave him a slap on the wrist. So he didn't do any jail.
Because they shouldn't have let him on stage. It was all their fault.
He got in. You don't know. This is a crazy story. And I remember having Change Media University, and I had a group of, younger kind of we are changers that I was training. One of the trainers was this guy. His name was Matt.
It's kind of a heavy-set guy.
And I trained him how to get through security, how to have press credentials, how to fit in,
Did
how
he
to
have
be
fake press credentials? Because it was
this
a
is the
Super
thing.
Bowl.
This is the thing. This is what a lot of people don't understand about this story, right? Because like every time I would go to these events, they would never let me in. I was never pressed or recognized, so I would sneak in. I would sneak in sometimes as a nice guy.
Yeah, you
sometimes
look like a bag boy though. Like you could look like you're a production crew
sometimes
or
I walked in as an assistant.
Yeah.
Sometimes I walked in and I demanded to be on the list when I covered these events. So I taught him all these things.
Yeah.
This guy walks into the Super Bowl without a ticket, without any form of nothing, just literally walking past security guard after security guard after security guard. Homeland Security, the National Guard had checkpoints everywhere, like 10 different checkpoints that he got through with a We Are Change press credential, right? That was printed at Kinko's and walked right in without even being officially told or recognized as media there. He walked in, and then he literally walked into the MVP speech of the Super Bowl, right?
Of the Super Bowl,
of the press conference. Grabbed the microphone and said, the government is lying to you about 9/11. Do your own homework, do your own research, wake up America, something exactly like that. Drop the microphone.
By people within our own government. I think that's exactly what he said.
Dropped the microphone like a G, and then walked off casually like nothing happened, with the MVP of the Super Bowl just kind of looking
right there, like what
the
everybody was like, what just
happened?
But see, that's
and then I woke up, and then literally every single media organization called me. Every last one of them, CNN, New York Times, Fox News, and MSNBC. They're like, give us a quote, give us a comment about this larger, this thing that you did.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not talking to any of you guys. That's the main difference between me and a lot of people. I don't give the corporate media a lot of attention. I've been through because earlier in my life, I got screwed over by them so many times. They lied through their teeth. They set us up. They said things that weren't true. They made things up. They took two statements, put them together as if it was one. I have no trust, no respect for the mainstream media. I call them the corporate horse stream media. I call them the prostitutes, and I just don't respect these people, and I don't do any interviews with them because of this just long history of just being absolutely screwed over by them. Sorry, you had something to say.
No. I'm saying I'm not surprised that you don't do it because it's impossible to trust in them. And the only time it would be where I want to talk to the mainstream media is if I control them, basically. You know, if I can do something that I would think could make a point. So yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks that when this guy went viral for this is what I was saying. This is the point I want to make. I've seen loose change. I was a 9/11 truther, but I remember I saw that he's like 9/11, yada yada yada. And I kind of laughed it off, and I still knew Luke. And so playing that in my head, I'm kind of like, wow, that's kind of what everybody like. We know that the government's lying. We know that all this bad stuff's happening. We know that America's all of our values are just getting flushed down the toilet. But you're like, what can we do about it? And I think that's kind of the existential crisis we face as a society.
I think because there's a lot of it has to involve with let's get hippy dippy a little bit.
Yeah, I love it.
A lot of it has to get involved with frequencies and energies, and I think it truly is when you do speak truth to power, especially a lot of these very powerful individuals, especially when I was one-on-one with Rothschild or Rockefeller or Kissinger and looking them right in the eyeballs. There was like a huge power vortex, a huge energy vortex, and telling these people off was an incredible moment where they realized, holy cow, I can't get away with everything that I'm doing. Holy cow, there's people in the know that understand all of this. This was even before the internet was really popular, before it was even as prominent as it is right now. And truly, when you do speak truth to power, everything just kind of starts to align. And I think the more we speak truth, the more good things kind of come into life, the more people realize the larger existence that we have here. There is a larger spiritual battle between good and evil. Yeah. And I know my time here on this earthly plane is short, but I want to make sure I spend it in a good way, having a positive impact, leaving it better for the future children that I'm going to have, and making myself the best version, trying to live as an example, trying to have other people do the same. That's what I'm trying to do.
And you talk about the truth. This is the thing with truth. Over time, the truth will always come out. So you can try to hide it. So that's why it's better to just own it. It's kind of like, I remember when I was a little kid, if I did something wrong, I would be scared to tell my dad because I would be in trouble. No, it's better to just be out and open and tell my dad because then he can help me with fixing the issue that I have. So I'm just saying that was kind of an analogy for life. And I try to do that. I try to, extrapolate that with everything else.
And when you do lie, number one, it's very difficult to lie on podcasts or live streams, especially if you're walking.
It's really hard to lie on a podcast if you go on them every day. No way.
Exactly.
People lie going.
To keep that lie going, that takes a lot of mental energy.
That's why
a lot of
people
don't have
Murphy
that.
thing was such a big deal. That's why I'm just saying.
Yes, yeah.
Certain lies, you keep it. It's going to come to the surface. So I guess what is it? What did Hitler say? The bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. It's weird.
I think that was another person.
Yeah, whatever.
But
regardless, I'm just saying it's always better. You will live in the truth. You be your true self, unapologetically yourself. I'm not a person to give you advice. But it's just so much of a better life, and more positive things come your way. Look at Luke. I mean, this guy's had a million opportunities, and it's all because he has the right positive vibrational energy. And it sounds woo-woo. It sounds like a hippie thing. But I'm telling you, it is magnetic. You connect with other people that are high vibrational as well.
Plus, to get, really in there, there's other planes of existence and
that
energy
we can't see.
That we don't understand.
People act like it. Guys, our eyes cannot see everything. Our ears cannot hear every frequency. There's frequencies a dog can hear that we can't.
Exactly.
So there's stuff going around us right now. We don't have any idea. We can't see with the naked eye.
There's residencies and energetic fields that we can't even comprehend and understand in this life. And I do truly believe that there's something way bigger, way spiritual, because when you do lie, when you do act like a scumbag, you feel bad inside, right? When you meet someone who's bad, you feel that they're actually bad. You feel someone that's on your level, whether it's even just small micro expressions, whether it's just them mimicking maybe you or your behavior. There is something when you meet someone that clicks, they're like, oh yeah, he's good. I like being around that person. I really don't like being around that person. That kind of form of energy can't really be quantified or understood. The different dimensions and realms that are still existence in this worldly plane, we still do not understand, but there is a larger consciousness, there is a larger energy, and you have to decide how you're gonna spend that energy frequency. Is it gonna be a high vibration? Is it gonna be a low vibration? What are you gonna be feeding? What are you going to be moving away from? What are you going to be, more importantly, going towards? And I wanna move towards a better way. A better society where we're more free, we're more responsible, we're stronger than ever, and there's a lot of adversities, but those adversities could break you or make you. You went through a lot of adversity, you made sure it made you. I went through some crap too, I made sure I came out of it better, as strong as I could.
And this is the most important thing. Guys, hard work always beats tired talent. Doesn't matter how talented you are, unless you work your butt off, trying to focus on whatever your goal is. So if your goal is making a family, if your goal is doing a podcast, if your goal is to be a BMX racer, I don't know what your goal is, but if you don't work hard, you cannot blame anybody but yourself when you don't achieve your goals.
Exactly. And a lot of people, like, he's responsible or they're responsible. But more importantly, it's the government that did it. It's the government. Yeah. I'm doing bad. I suck. I'm not healthy because it's the government's fault. Nope.
Well, that's what made me mad about Kanye. Is the guy's a multi-billionaire and he wants to blame one religion. It's like, I get it. You're mad at one religion, but you're not a victim, bud. You're a billionaire.
Yeah,
like,
a billionaire or was a billionaire.
Yeah, was a billionaire.
It's like, you know, count your blessings, and like, the more you blame others, the less you take responsibility, the less you live in your truths, the more bullcrap you have in your life. We've kind of gone on a lot of different topics. Any topic you want to discuss?
No, we've talked about it all. I've had a blast, and obviously you and I are going to create more content in the future. But I want to say this at the beginning. I think, even though I have a very produced show at the Blaze, I hope you guys will watch that. But I'm saying people like the underproduced content.
Yeah.
The more
I have the produced too. I have a studio that I'm like building for like months. But I'm like, this is the better way to start this broadcast.
Yes. So it's crazy, and I always say this: perfection is the enemy of good.
Exactly.
Like, you know, not everything needs to be perfect. People just want real, genuine content. I think that's what comes across in you. I think that's what tries to come across with me, is just that, like, we're passionate or we care about the things
you could
we talk
see it
about.
in your eyes. You could see it in your energy. Like, as soon as I met Alex, you were backstage at the Minds Festival, and I was like, and you were like, Luke. That Larry Silverstein stuff. I was like, yeah, thank you. Finally, someone that sees. And you went up to Danny Polishuk and Ryan Long, and they're like, you went up to him and be like, do you know who Larry Silverstein? And Danny Polishuk and Ryan Long were like, no. I'm like, I'm not talking to you guys anymore. I'm ex-friending you, Ryan Long and Danny Polishuk. I'm done with you. I'm done with you.
We need to clip this.
You
guys need to learn who Larry Silverstein is.
How dare you not know who's Larry Silverstein and his insurance policy on the buildings that he put on the day before as he left the building for a dermatologist event with his son, with his daughter, with his whole family not being in the building when they had dinner at breakfast at Windows of the World every single morning. Gosh darn it. Sorry.
You gotta see the crowd. They're probably like, wow.
Sorry,
live stream. Sorry about that. My wife and her boyfriend. I just found her with a boyfriend. That. Should I take her back? I caught my wife. My wife got a new boyfriend. Should I take her back or should I? Is that yes? Oh, my knees. Okay. Oh, my. So my wife. So you can all split it. So should I go back to my wife? My wife said her boyfriend has a bigger thing than me. Yeah, he's better.
Thank you.
Is that bad? Is that bad? You speak Creole? Yeah, me too. A po' boy. Shrimp po' boy is my favorite food. You know shrimp po' boy? Oh my God! Did you know that? When I was a child, I injured my genitals in a fire. I caught fire as a child in a car. I don't have no genitals. I'm trans because my genitals were burned off in a fire, car fire. My mom was a drunk driver.
Oh, okay.
He said, "Don't spend all that in one spot. Do not spend that. Save it."
On that note, we're gonna take Super Chats now.
Because we need some money.
As Alex just gave $5 to some lovely ladies there. If you have Super Chats, we're gonna be answering them right now. But yeah, this was unplanned, unscripted. We didn't have any questions. Like, literally, like hold on, let me pan the camera back around. We were a part of this music video shoot, and I'm like, you know, I got to launch my podcast.
Let's launch this.
I'm like, let's launch it. Let's just go. Let's just do it. We got really good Barry Jennings. That's another topic. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna answer your super chats in just a little bit. But this is a kind of authentic way, a real way. We didn't have a route planned. We went down some sketchy road. We didn't have questions planned. We didn't have a conversation planned. There was a bayou. Like there could have been snakes or alligators. I was ready. Don't worry,
I had the microphone. If we're gonna have to stab.
I had other things, but we're ready no matter what happens. But I think doing things in a more honest, genuine, real life way, because this is live. This is unedited. We're just walking around randomly here in Orlando. But so stay tuned for a lot of different podcasts I'm going to be doing that are going to be weird, off the wall, just like this one. Alex, before we get into super chats and questions, where can people find you? What are you doing? Because you're doing a show.
Please, go. Guys, Blaze TV somehow gave me a job, and so I don't get fired. Please consider going to Primetime with Alex Stein. Just watch the show. It's free. You don't have to join. Just watch the show, please.
Primetime with Alex Stein on YouTube.
On YouTube.
So we'll make sure that our guys puts that
no worries, but
in the description, and make sure that you guys will be able to click on that. Check out Alex, because he definitely does a lot of really cool stuff, and it's definitely unique, and it's different, and it's artistic, and it's weird. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I think it's awesome. And I think we need more of these kind of real, kind of human interactions that are in the moment, that really do challenge us and test us and really do put us on the spot. You do a great job. You do a great job.
Look how nice this hotel is, though. We got to show the people. So this is the Hyatt. This is also the convention center. So this place is, I mean, Red's put on all the stops. Look how nice. This is the Hyatt Regency and the Orlando freaking convention center.
That's pretty sweet. No, the music shoot we just did is legit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really awesome to see.
Don Luke Cray is awesome. So I don't know if you follow him on Twitter, Luke, but he's had some of the best Twitter threads of the past year. Do you know Don?
No.
So he was a black dude with the dreads. He's so cool, but what he does that's really effective on Twitter is he'll be like, proof Donald Trump is the biggest racist. And then he just goes, and then underneath it all these subtweets about how Joe Biden did racist stuff, you know, like Joe Biden said the N-word or whatever. So he kind of does that. He like does these bait and switch tweet threads, and like, gender hormone therapy is good, and then he talks about all about, you know, so he's just really effective.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best young black voices on all of Twitter. I'm not even kidding.
All right, we got a super chat by Based Joe, who says, "I'm just giving you my money." Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Hold on, I'm trying to click on these things. It's so difficult
hard.
here.
People don't realize we've got the gimbal. It wants to move around.
Yes, this is not easy. We got another one by Apple Kisses saying, "Much love from Philly. Thanks for making my sisters laugh. Thank you for watching. Thanks for participating. We're nothing without you guys. If it wasn't for you guys watching, subscribing, and checking us out."
Watching. That's incredible.
Yeah, no, I
thank you guys. I mean, I know Luke appreciates it.
This is unplanned, without even like any kind of like organization or announcement or schedule. I'm like, I'm not even going to schedule this thing. No. I got another super chat by All I Do Is Over Penetrate, saying abolish the ATF and repeal the NFA prime time.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Blinky, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm saying I had Mike Baker on my show recently, Luke, and I wanted to cuss him out. I had to like tell the crowd. He gave every CIA talking point. 9/11 wasn't an inside job. The CIA didn't sell drugs or in the Iran-Contra. And I was just very nice to him. But now looking back, and I just did this last week, I should have been like, "You liar! I hate the CIA." But I wanted to be respectful, you know.
Well, you know, there's a fine line. Monty Sander says,
Let's go upstairs.
"I remember Barry Jennings." Do you remember Barry Jennings?
Of course, and 9/11, he told out the keys and.
No, that was William Rodriguez. Barry Jennings was the worker in World Trade Center 7 that disappeared.
What do you? But he was the guy that did the interview, and after he disappeared at the interview, right?
Yes, and then went missing.
Yeah, we missed it.
Yeah, but his interview was collaborating a whole bunch of victims and survivors.
Like guys standing behind him in like black suits, or like Men in Black type suits.
We got a £5 super chat by Effrey Jepstein saying, "The real Florida Island Boys. I need on my island."
We love the Island Boys.
We should do a collaboration with them.
Well, you know, they've kind of fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, but like.
I'm saying, no, I love Island Boys, but the brothers are separated right now.
Really? They separate the Island Boys? That's how bad social dynamics are? The Island Boys break
The
up?
Island Boys right now,
Holy cow.
are broken up.
Wow.
Now, I think they could, return to dominance, obviously, but yeah, at the moment, the Island Boys, they're not, and they cut their hair.
Oh,
You
man.
didn't see they don't have their hairs yet.
But they got a lot of tattoos.
They have a lot of tattoos, which is always good. More tattoos, the better, right?
Blue, where's your tattoos? I don't have any either. I don't have none.
I'm about to get it.
Blue de Goiler says, hey, Alex, I'm a working producer and screenwriter in the industry and conservative leaning. How do you navigate the balance of working in our industry and staying vocal about your beliefs?
Well, you're toast, because I would say back in like the 90s, it was a big deal to come out of the closet as a homosexual. Now in 2023, it's a big deal to come out of the closet as a conservative. So it sounds crazy, but this is not the right answer, but I would almost try to just not let everybody know, because it's just going to automatically alienate you and kind of red pill them secretly. I mean, that's just what my honest advice. Is that the most honorable advice? No, you should be like, oh, I'm conservative, I'll do what I want. But that's not based in reality, and that could cause you to lose your job. So, like I said, I would try to be kind of covert and try to red pill people with facts, instead of just being like, the crazy leftists that want to alienate people because they don't ideologically agree with them.
Yeah, we got another one by, are you waiting for, okay. Eliza right now says, are you familiar with the name Barry Chamish? I have no idea who that is personally myself. I haven't heard that name.
We're almost wrapping. It looks like they got it all packed. Look. Wow.
That was a great music video.
Let's show them the set. Come on, they got to see it.
We got Hillbilly Clinton saying, I know it's a weird question, but do you guys think there's a link between Manakoi and the jab? Mkanoi? What is that? I don't
know, but we're on YouTube. So
yeah, you can't. Yeah. Just listen to Lord Fauci.
This is it. This is the set. You guys are breaking it down. What a day.
We got a super chat by Lord Z saying, Lord loves a working man. Don't trust with E. See doctor and get rid of it. Hey, Monty Sanders, I know you.
This is Klaus right here.
You want to put on Klaus?
He's already in this. He's in his case, but look at this ultra realistic. This is the mask you wear to rob a bank in.
And I think people have done that already.
That's why they're so expensive. Is people. As a matter of fact, there was one guy that was wearing white face. He was wearing white mask, and then they had
yeah. And wearing an old face. I think it was a very similar one. Yeah. Emily Gorel says, happy to give you money. And I'm going to keep going through all your questions here.
It is fun, too.
Here is $10 if Alex will go to a hotel employee and try to orange pill them. I'll give another 10. Okay, this is by Morgan Saylor.
What's orange pill? Why don't I know that color?
What is orange pill? I know black pill, white pill. What is orange pill? Maybe it's
blue pill, red pill.
Maybe it's to convince them of Donald Trump or.
Red and blue makes orange, right? So
yeah.
So what's an orange pill? I've never heard that term.
I'm just trying to eat this lunch.
I'm saying I've heard red pill, I've heard blue pill.
I heard black pill.
I've heard orange pill. Well, what is orange pill like in the middle?
I never heard that.
We're in the live stream, they want me to orange pill. I'll do anything to a hotel employee as long as it's legal. As long as you don't break the law, I'll do whatever the super chats want me to do.
RTK615 says, Alex, will you bring Salty Cracker on the show?
Yeah, I love Salty
Luke,
Cracker.
keep it up, man. Yeah, there's a lot of people who watch Salty Cracker that are on the live stream always.
Salty Cracker's got like one of the best followings on all of YouTube. Now, Salty Cracker's great. He reacts to a lot of my clips. I actually am indebted to Salty Cracker for helping me a lot. So,
we're actually...
Yeah, I'll probably try to get Salty on this week. Thanks for the... And this is the other thing, too, is I book the guests, too, but then I have a producer, so it's like people tell me to do guests. So everybody that... If there's somebody you want to have me on the show, please remind me specifically. Tell me on Twitter, tell me on Instagram, because... Like I said, I only have 2 guests per show and so many shows, so the hottest guests I want on. But yeah, Salty Cracker, I need to get him on next week. That's a good record.
Yeah, I see a lot of his stuff all over the place.
He's all over.
We got a $5 super chat from Grofty saying, don't shout out, but chat like that button hard. Okay, well thank you for that. I guess the people... to try and onboard somebody into Bitcoin. Oh,
oh my God. That's why I haven't heard about it. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go try to decentralize. So, did you see those...
Offer them $5 or a Bitcoin.
Those hotel... Oh, Oh, that would be good.
Do you want a Bitcoin? You want $5? What do you want?
When I went to that $5 bill, they didn't speak any English, but as soon as I had that money, they're like, oh, give it to me, give it to me. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to necessarily get any crypto bros converted while we're here, but
You never know.
you never know.
You know, you gotta.
Well, and that's the other thing is crypto is I thought when it was booming, like everybody else, oh, it's gonna go to 100,000, and we had so many friends, and I lost like about $10,000 in it. I still have like $7,000, but I do think one day it'll come back up.
Well, who knows? We'll see.
I know. I mean, it could all crash. And that's
yeah.
another thing is, you know that, guys, they want to have a central digital currency that we all use. And the reason why is because they can, when you don't get vaccinated, you don't wear your mask on your face, you know, I don't want to say these words. Then they can just, cut your bank account off.
Yep,
so.
central bank digital currencies, which the local government here in Florida just banned, by the way. Amco says, great interview with Pring Alex. All right. We got another super chat here by Hubis saying Luke needs a TDS tattoo on his chest. A Trump derangement syndrome. Okay. I don't like tattoos. I don't think I ever will have a tattoo. Holly Movie Star says we need a renewed demand to release all outside security camera footage of the Pentagon on September 11th. I know, right? Where's the footage? They had so many video cameras. It's like the most
117 cameras or whatever supposedly caught it.
Yeah, it's the most surveilled area in the world.
Gas station. There was a gas station that supposedly got it all.
Witnesses too were silenced, and they literally went around. The U.S. government literally went around and confiscated surveillance footage around the Pentagon, so we would never see exactly what happened. But they did release 5 frames of a shot of a plume of smoke. Yeah. Not a plane, but a plume of smoke. Yeah. Okay. I got a bridge to tell you if you believe that official story.
I also want to say everything that the mainstream media says about 9/11 is true, and everything the mainstream media says about anything else you hear is true. And we just want to follow all terms of services, and want to thank you so much, YouTube, for being so great. We love you so much. We wish you would take more of a percentage off the super chats. So if you guys want to take like 75%, that's cool with me, and it's cool with Luke. We talked about it.
Yeah. Just take more. Take everything. Take everything. Like my pockets. My pockets are here. Eric Schmidt needs our support. Bobcat says you both need to read the book The Last Circle by Sherry Seymour and maybe visit Deer Island. Luke, gotta catch them all.
It's good because it's not like freezing cold.
You guys ever heard of Deer Island? What is that?
But it's still cold enough where it's not like room temperature, you know?
It's been freezing the whole time. YouTube is on the way to the door.
Oh, yeah.
I think Rumble will be the big thing. And like,
What do you do? I'm trolling. No, YouTube, they got us by the balls.
Yes. Like literally and physically, like they.
I'm very thankful for the platform, but every single day I'm like, is my channel gonna get deleted? I hate having that worry. Like,
and there's a bunch of people that got hit recently too.
Look what we just did at this shoot, right?
Yep.
Like we invested our time, our money, our effort, all of us.
I'm like, wow, they could just fucking make me lose all that money.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I had footage from this trans rally, and I had to like go and make sure it's so edited because they talk about offing or, you know, I'm just saying they say stuff that I don't even risk putting on YouTube, and then they even though somebody else in my video is saying it's too mean, I don't even want to share that. Like I'm getting abused, I don't even want to share that.
We self-censored. This is a war. Welcome to the revolution.
We're blurring out the words.
Yeah.
We blurred out so many people's signs, but we like left it like kind of transparent so you would know what it is. But like we had to put documented for historical purposes. This is journalism only. Like we're not here to present facts.
I have to give crazy disclaimers. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
Historians got hit on YouTube. Historians can't share history. Bobcat has a super chat saying, Luke, you haven't heard of the Skull and Bones? Absolutely, I skirted Skull and Bones. Did you hear about Skull and Bones? One of my first original skits was going outside of Skull and Bones, and I had a Bush mask. My friend had a Dick Cheney mask, and then we were humping outside of Skull and Bones, outside of Skull and Bones, humping each other.
That's cool.
That was one of my first videos.
Do they have like a fraternity house?
Yes, it's real. Yeah, you could go there.
Well, I know it's a real
I got Arnold Schwarzenegger there, and I confronted him about his ties to the Germans in the 1930s. And then, yes, exactly. You can't say that word. YouTube's gonna get you. We got another super chat. Y'all need to try Dickens cider. Okay. Yeah. That's probably an apple beverage, right? I think that's what they mean here. We got another super chat saying, "What is the new fifth plane thing on Hulu?" No idea. Haven't heard of it myself. But I thank you guys for the. Really?
It's about the Malaysian airline or one of those planes that disappeared.
Everyone in the chat is saying shouts out to High Res
what
saying how you doing, and then you just.
Thursday featuring Luke.
Is it coming out this Thursday?
This Thursday.
Nice.
3 days from now.
That's quick.
That's awesome. That's a good turnaround because there was a lot of like.
We don't do it. We don't do it.
What's going to be the YouTube channel that they're going to see the music video with all of us on?
High Res TV. That's my channel. Go over there. Hit me with a sub. I appreciate y'all. It's dropping Thursday, featuring Luke, featuring Alex, featuring a bunch of freedom fighter, red pill base people.
Yeah, I mean the last music video you did was pretty awesome. It was pretty incredible. And then as soon as I seen that, we interviewed you for Timcast, and I was like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
I
was going to try to be in that one. I couldn't. I was
you got something going on.
Yeah, but this one I was like,
I'm happy to
You're
have
so
all y'all.
sad when you couldn't come to that one.
I know. I was bummed out too. I was
This
going
one's
to
better, bro. It worked out. I
Yeah.
didn't have a big role for you in the first one.
Dude, that was just cool.
We got another chat by Heather Reed saying, I like this real format, Alex, a lot better than your primetime show. I'm sorry. But the show comes off too cheesy. Love You and Conspiracy Castle channel too.
But I'm coming out with a show called The Chronicles of Stein. It's a Conspiracy Castle 2.0. It's coming out on the Blaze. We're going to be long form like my last interview show. So Conspiracy Castle's not dead. But I had to delete it off YouTube because in terms of services, now they can go back and consider something dangerous conspiratorial content, even if it's not that crazy. I'm saying like you could be talking about any subject, especially of course the ones we talked about today.
Yes.
A lot of the ones we talked about today.
Yes. We got it. We definitely stretched the limit here.
But I'm saying I have like 2 hours dedicated interviews, you know, with what is it, architects of engineers? What's he?
Richard Gage.
With Richard Gage, like, dude, that's gonna. I had to take that down. So we're coming out with The Chronicles of Stein, which will be the sequel to the Conspiracy Castle, because any conspiracy content now is just instantly.
Yep. Grofty says wearing a 2 + 2 = 5 shirt I made. You don't have to make that shirt. That's literally the shirt I have on right now. Like literally. Hold on. Yeah. 2 + 2 = 5. You bigot. One of the shirts that you could get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com.
How somebody was saying that is good. That's a.
Yes, no, they're actually arguing that this is real math now. 2 + 2 = 5 is real, and they're arguing it inside of schools because of I don't know, freaking insanity.
I read the article. I read the headline and quit.
But yeah, you're wearing the shirt. We actually sell the shirt. And it's one of the best shirts we got because a lot of times people see this, they laugh right away, they give you high fives, they're like, yeah. And that's one of the best ways to still get your message out there that can't be censored on YouTube. And I think with the podcast we did, wish us luck, RIP, RIP this YouTube channel.
Love terms of services. Everything we said here was informational entertainment purposes only. Nothing is real, nothing matters. Just turn the channel, watch something else that's safe.
Yeah. Just go to, what's his name? Who gets promoted?
John Oliver.
Go watch John Oliver. You know, there's Mr. Beast too, but I heard he's getting canceled too.
Dude, they're canceling Mr. Beast like crazy. That's just you. He helps people out. Somehow he's not helping the right people. That's why these people are so insane.
He went to Africa and literally helped people not be blind, and they got angry at it, which is absolutely crazy. Willie in Chords writes, appreciate you guys for watching and being a part of this.
But it's actually not crazy because no good deed goes unpunished.
Exactly.
You shouldn't do good, but it's just, I don't know how to explain it. We have this very weird society where when we see other people doing good, you like want to tear them down. It's a crab mentality, crab in a bucket mentality. Did you know that fishermen do not have to put a lid on their crab buckets because the other crabs, when one crab tries to crawl out, they pull them back in. Look up the crab mentality.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, yeah. So that's the mentality that a lot of society have. You don't have to put anything on top of it.
But it's really challenging you and testing you to see if you really want to do good things. So don't be dissuaded by it. Don't be pissed off by like, oh crap, it's hard, it's difficult. It's supposed to be difficult. It's a challenge to life. Anything difficult in life, anything you have to put a lot of effort in, usually is something that you look back on and appreciate the journey that you were a part of for doing that.
Cheap and easy is cheap and easy.
Yeah, you don't appreciate it. Yeah, just short dopamine hits, which they want you in a perpetual loop, so you keep enslaved to their nonsense propaganda and psyops. We got another super chat saying Google Kenneth Trent to do. I don't know what that is exactly for, but I appreciate all your super chats. I appreciate your participation. This is the first podcast ever with Alex Stein, 99 Prime Time.
Go and support Luke.
Check him out.
He's a real hero.
Yeah.
But before he goes, guys, Luke's been on the front lines of this thing for nearly 20 years. I know he's a young man, but he's been on it since he was wee little 19-year-old teenager. So, guys, go and support Luke. He's an independent creator that needs you, the audience, to keep this thing going. And I know you guys have kept it going for a long time, and Luke is very appreciative, and so am I. So thank you guys for supporting Luke and myself.
Alex Primetime 99. Check him out on YouTube. The link will be down in the description below. And if this channel still exists,
you can twerk on YouTube.
yeah, you can do that. You can subscribe, click the notification button right there. Click the button right, click the like button right there. And then also make sure to go to lukeunfiltered.com where we can have more honest, more frank, more crazier discussions than what we have right now. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.